A lot of people are very excited about tonight because they say it's, what is it called? This super full moon, blue moon, because there's two full moons this month. Well, if I'm the moon, I'll be very sad because the moon is always full. And we like to look at the moon from our own perspectives and, oh, you're not so full today, you're new moon, you're half moon, you're the waning moon, you're the waxing moon. I will only remember you when you're full, but I'm remembering you not for you, the moon, of how beautiful you look, but about what can I get if I do something spiritual. So it's still about me, my perspectives, my desires. It's not so much about the moon. So when we talk about honoring fullness, fulfillment, wholesomeness, wholeness, this is how we can reflect on the moon itself and look at the full moon. It's also to remind us sometimes life may not seem so full, but it doesn't mean that it's lacking. Because if you zoom out of your life, there's bound to be ups and downs. There's bound to be fluctuations. But we can also remember that we are actually complete inside. Just like the moon, it requires time, it requires seasons, and the right causes and conditions will come for the moon to reveal its full brilliance. But wouldn't it be very boring and in a way unnoble if the moon is always full? Because we will stop appreciating it every month. We're like, the moon is just there. We take it for granted. So likewise, ourselves, our relationships, our loved ones, or even our careers, or even our teams, our KPIs and all this, if it's always complete, always full, wouldn't it be very boring in life? That there's nothing to learn, nothing to grow from, nothing to appreciate. Just like when you finally manage to lose weight, you start to appreciate what you've been doing with your food. You start to appreciate your body. When you're finally free from a cough or a flu, you start to appreciate good health. But the thing is that health has always been there. And then we take it for granted. How many of us wake up today feeling really great that our ankle is not sprained? We don't have a toothache. We don't have a flu. So this is something that we can be mindful of, that we can learn to utilize the moon in such a way that we can remember there's something full in our lives, but maybe we're not looking at it. There's some areas in our life that's really full. There's some transformation that has really come to fruition. There's certain blessings that we wanted, but they could have already been around. Or maybe they're just one step ahead of us that we are not seeing because we're still basing on our own ideas and our own perceptions. Today, in the Buddhist tradition and in the Mahayana tradition, which is more Eastern Asia, the Mahayana tradition is more prevalent in China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Korea, Vietnam, Japan. They say that today is Ulambana Day. Ulambana Day, which happens on the lunar 7th month, also known as the Hungry Ghost Festival in Singapore and some other parts of Southeast Asia. That is on this day whereby one of the Buddha's disciples, called Mahamoggallana, is the foremost in psychic powers, that he saved his mom on this particular day. So on Ulambana, it can also be translated as Sangha Day. It's the day of Sangha. And why? So there's a story. I don't exactly remember how Mahamoggallana's mom ended up in hell after she passed away. Must be through a lot of bad karma that ripened. So despite being the foremost in psychic powers, only second to the Buddha himself, he wasn't able to use any of his psychic powers to liberate his mom from hell. He couldn't do any of that at all. So what he did was that he offered Sanghadana, meaning offering to the Sangha, offering to the community of monks. He offered food and requisites, the requisites like robes, for example, that they can use, just simple daily necessities. He offered to a lot of monks, made a sincere offering, and then he dedicated the merits to his mom. And that's how he liberated his mom from hell. And his mom got reborn into a higher state immediately after he shared the merits with his mom. And this is very important, especially when in Southeast Asia, you see, especially today, a lot of people are offering food on the streets, to the hungry ghost, right? That believe, roasted pig and all that kind of stuff. No doubt it's nice to just bring the whole family together to have a feast at the end of the day. But the dead, they can't benefit from such offerings, or even burning of Jaws papers. It only pollutes the environment. So to benefit our departed relatives, it is to offer our merits to them. And why is it important for us to offer to the sangha, to the monks? Because they're the ones who continued the Buddha. They're the ones who continued the spiritual awakening, the wisdom, the teachings, the practice, the ethics. They're practicing to be holy. So offering food to them sustains their life because they have dedicated their entire life to simply practice towards enlightenment and to share the wisdom with whoever they come into contact with, as long as they are willing to listen. So that's why it is very, very beneficial. Well, we don't have any monks here, right? They have already eaten. We can't offer food to them. But if we look deeply into this, Ulambana, what is Sangha Day? What does that actually mean? You see, the monks and even the nuns, they have dedicated their lives to spiritual practice for the sake of bringing enlightenment to the world. So we are sitting here today. We also, I hope, trying to get some enlightenment, to be more wakeful, to stop living in ignorance, delusions, forgetfulness, to be more mindful, to be more compassionate, to be more composed, to have more clarity in our lives, to stop seeing ourselves as separate selves from the rest of the world or from others, and seeing that causes and conditions have brought us together. Even when you're faced with obstacles or enemies, it's just causes and conditions that were present that these situations arise. When the causes and conditions are not there, they will disappear again. And they interact, they are interconnected, we and others, and all situations that come about. But if we have a practice, remember that we are practicing towards enlightenment, towards liberation, to reduce our own mental suffering and anger, resistance, aversion, ill will, these are also part of mental suffering, dukkha. Then we are practicing at a point of time. And we can be mindful throughout our living moments. Every time before we eat, we know that we're not here just to move along in the world. We're here to get our own awakening so that we can benefit the people around us. They can benefit from our presence, our energy, our wisdom, our patience, our compassion. Then you are a practitioner at that point of time. And when you offer yourself that food, it is very, very powerful because you know that you're not just eating to live, you're eating to practice. You're eating for the world because you want to make the world a better place. So we can always remind ourselves of that, of how we are offering our service. So it's not that you're here in the temple or you're at home listening to this discourse, that you're only spiritual at this point of time. No. We can be spiritual. We can be practicing in our day-to-day life. And we can get in touch with that fullness within us, knowing that we have a path. We have a practice. Life is whole when we have a practice. We have an inclination towards what is divine, what is holy. There's not outside of ourselves. There's not up there in the clouds, but deep within ourselves that we can get in touch with here. And when we can get in touch with here, we start seeing through those eyes, or in a way, purity, holiness, awakening. And that is the kingdom of heaven that we can be in touch with right here and now in the present moment. Because as far as I know, no one can prove there's a heaven outside, right? Or pure land in Buddhism, right? Who can prove it right now? No one can prove it. But I believe that we can all get in touch with the kingdom of heaven right here and right now. The pure land right here and right now. So there's the path that we can have. They can get in touch with. And tonight, we're gathered here to practice, to perform a puja with the candles already lit up on the altar. This is something that we can remind ourselves that we're here to be in touch. Whether there's a sangha out there, doesn't matter. We are a sangha sitting here together. Because sangha means combination, a combination of parts. And you are a sangha, your body, speech, and mind, that's your sangha. Your form, your physical form, your feelings, your perceptions, your mental formations, your consciousness, that is a sangha. But whether this sangha is wholesome, holy, or ignorant, or deluded, depends on how we're going to look at it, how we want to uphold ourselves. And when we can align within ourselves with this fullness within us, that I have a path, that my body, speech, and mind are unified as one, then whatever blessings out there, whatever wholesome astrological phenomena we can receive and absorb today, it will happen because you're already aligned and attuned within yourself first. That's why we like to perform the Anjali, right? So we're praying, but this actually really means our body and mind coming together. And whatever we say, it needs to be aligned. And that's how the energies will flow. And whatever we wish to achieve, like I said, it's already present, but we forgot where to look. And what we wish for might not be fulfilled in a way that we want to. So in Chintamani, I've mentioned before that whatever you want to achieve in your life, be it a short-term or long-term goal, there is an emotion tied to it after you have achieved it. Be it material, spiritual success, love, health. The end, the last feeling there is freedom. Right? If not, why go and chase after the things? Is to feel free. Free of burden, free of desires, free of aversion, free of ill will, free of delusion. Ultimately, it's that sense of freedom that, I've got it. I've got it. So the more we can get in touch with that, I've got it through gratitude practice, the more it will come. So whatever we wish for, we want to manifest things. This I cover in the 4-week Chintamani. So you want to get in touch with that feeling that you ought to have. God is very funny. Sometimes after people achieve something, they want another thing. Right? After you sell one company, you want to build another one, you want to sell another one. You get the first jhana in meditation, you want the second one. You get some spiritual insight, it's not good enough. I want another one. I want the next one. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. Then you see. So if you can get in touch, ultimately we want what can lead us to that freedom, that ease. That is important. Because your karma is something that no one can actually dissect or describe how much karmic energies we have. No one can. So if someone says that they can see your karma entirely, I always say run away. The person is trying to scam you, or the person is deluded, him or herself. So things are out there when you want to manifest. And if you are manifesting the right thing, you should say that freedom, that sense of ease that I want. And then let go of the outcome. It will come. Because if you wish for something and you forgot that it's about freedom, but you're thinking about a kind of happening, and it's not meant to happen, it won't happen. But how about from the other side? Something is coming into you. But when you come here and dwell back in your freedom, it will come. And then you can be in touch with. So at the end of the day, is to be in touch with ourselves first. Right? And since we're all here to practice, and like I said, I still have no idea what we're going to chant. So let's get into our comfortable postures. Evan, if you don't mind, can help me turn off the bigger switch up there?